Good morning, Video Diary, UBK Bosley. It is the 15th of May. It has just come to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Bring it here, Roxy. This is a message for my brothers, Craig, Brian in particular, and David. Craig, I'm really sorry we've split up, and I'm sorry you don't want anything to do with me. I did care about you, and I did have guilt in the same way that I think David certainly and Carl did when they were younger, that they couldn't prevent the situation that I was going to and do anything about it. Nor could Brian, because he was, you know, trying to, fucking hell, he badly affected. He was the oldest. Marriage fell apart in terrible circumstances. Trying to get a new life with Elaine. He had his own life going down. All of them, and I felt the same way when you were taken away by the old man to Birmingham. And I know, you know, I know what you'd suffered. I've been there with you. I care about you, and I cared that you and Minnie might have a chance of at least you having some happiness, because I know you'd had a rough time. A lot of it brought on yourself, but you know, you're a victim of your circumstances, same as everybody. Brian, you know, me, you, Carl and David, we weren't raised together. We had the same DNA, we had things in common, you know, parentage, but we weren't raised together. And I grew up with a different view of life. I'm not saying my life was any harder than yours. I'm sure yours was pretty raw and pretty brutal with just dad and mum and defending mum, and you were the closest to mum. You had to be, because you knew her better. It must have been horrible. It was horrible for you. No doubt about that. Especially living your life cheek by jowl with the reminders of everything. I lived in Aldershot for 8 years or 10 years recently, and it didn't help me at all. Not living on top of it. But going to the Paras was, I mean, maybe the military wasn't the right thing for me anyway, but I went to the Marines because I wanted to do something that was away from the past. If you can understand that, fair enough. But it's not just about the Paras. There's more to life than the Paras. I've no disrespect for them, and I've got a lot of people that have helped me in life from the Paras. You know, I can't say that for my brothers. I don't think, in the great scheme of things, David, you got me in a lot of shit when I was growing up and young, and when I was living in Reading. Fucking fights at parties, and you know, performing at the pass out parade when I passed out in the engineers as a combat engineer. Caused fucking mayhem. It was all funny at the time, but fucking hell, and other little bits that I won't go into on the video, but you got me in some pretty hairy situations, David. And I had years of drunken phone calls from you. As soon as I got a fucking meltdown, the mysterious younger brother, and no, I'm not even more intelligent than any of you, I'm just pissed off that you can't see what's staring in your face because you're so moulded and aligned to the parachute regiment. I don't have a fucking problem with the parachute regiment. Very proud, etc, etc. But did they have something to do with Mum, Jill, Sherry, fucking Mary Grant, John Hasler's death or not? And was it a positive input? I would say not. And the fact that the fucking memorials have always been about the military pisses me off. And I was hoping with the 50th, at least we could get moving away from that and have it focused on the people who died. Not the garrison, not the Blues and Royals, not the Argyle and Bolton Wanderers. The 5 waitresses that went to waiter on tables 3 weeks after Bloody Sunday at the very regiment at the front and centre of that, and were not protected on a day when the guardroom log went missing apparently. How hard is it to instigate a road checkpoint? Why did Carl go and collect money for Mum on Friday and was told and couldn't get in the building? Because they had a bomb threat. You know, Carl wasn't always the most honest, certainly towards me, but something's not right. Now, I don't want an inquiry, I'm not interested. Nobody gives a fuck. If the last 50 odd years has proved anything, nobody gives a fuck. I knew that years ago. It was hard enough for me, and it was hard enough for you. I know it was in different ways, but my life was watching other people getting fucking beaten up and tortured and getting beaten up myself, which was the easy bit. But seeing women and girls getting fucking beaten up in that way. What you did, Brian, when you phoned the fucking Marines, was it's beyond unforgivable. I don't know what you were fucking thinking of, but I remember the repercussions of that, and it was game over for me then. Immediately. I did get ribbing about having brothers at the parish from a few people who knew. There's a couple of people who recognised me that either went to school with Carl or came from somewhere that I'd lived or had worked with somebody's brother before, or I bumped into people I knew at Lympstone, and I bumped into a para that was driving there from 15 para who knew me. So it was out, but there was never an issue. I got more respect for coming from a para family and going to the Marines and being different than I did grief at first. After that fucking phone call, Brian, my world just it was impossible. No, there wasn't anybody in the camp who knew and was pissed off. Whatever you said to that fucking bloke who fucking ripped my face off verbally when he came down the bottom field, it sounded, when I recall the fucking shouting and screaming at me, that he was telling me what he was under the impression I had said to you. What was going on in your fucking head? So I'm sorry I called you an idiot in the email, but you fucking are. And I've never put a fucking patrol under fucking in danger, albeit I've never been on a proper active service patrol, but using a fucking plastic mattress cover as a bivvy bag on a patrol, on a tactical patrol at night in a dangerous area where you have to unruffle it and fucking alert the whole neighbourhood, and you don't think you're an idiot. I could go on, Brian. If you don't want anything to do with me, fine. I don't have any malice towards you, but you need to recognise what you did. That was out of order. Oh yes, and thank you for coming down here and supporting me when I was going to court to defend myself when what Carl and Lisa were involved with to facilitate my demise became clear. That was a bit of a shock. And if you people don't believe it, imagine how I feel. I was living there. I was welcoming Carl into well, not welcoming in the end, every weekend, and suddenly after I have the suicide at the stadium, he's phoning me on my next job, telling me every day he's just about to kill himself, hang himself. He'd never done that before, and yet he did it after I suffered from the suicide of one of the men in my care at the stadium. Just coincidence, eh? Craig, I'm sorry. I am genuinely sorry. You're not a bad kid. You're not a bad lad, and you've had a bad time, and I finally should be happy. I'm sorry I came up to see you when I was ill. I shouldn't have done. I was fucking ill. I've been under siege in my home here for 5-6 years. That's the truth of the matter. And no, I'm not ill, and I don't think that. That's what the authorities have done. They've removed my driving licence despite not drink driving. Yes, I've been drunk a lot, but look at my face and look at my demeanour. Is this the face and demeanour of an alcoholic, albeit somebody that on occasions has got absolutely pissed out of his head? I would say probably the latter. I don't have a pox face. I don't have a red face. I'm not bloated. I'm probably lighter than I've been since I was 16, I think. I don't train because I can't physically train now. I can't run anymore, which is pretty worrying in this part of the world with the way things are around my home, particularly that way. And if you look at what I have this way, this is what I was defending. I've been trying to get this all my life. Yes, it's not in the middle of the countryside and out of the way, but for what I could afford, there's nothing onerous if you look around, is there? And look, even because Lisa told my next door neighbour when I frog marched her out the door, Brian, on one of those occasions which I asked you to video, when she had prepared herself to keep Roxy from me, so that I didn't know if I'd wake up in the morning and Roxy'd still be in the property or whether she'd have stolen her again. She told the neighbour I'd tried to strangle her before I frog marched her out the fucking door. Well, why? You know, either strangle her and it's job finished, or fucking kick her out. I just wanted her out. So because the poor guy next door thinks I tried to strangle my wife, he hates me. And I understand that, because he's a simple Devonian man. But what can I do other than increase the heights of the fence so he doesn't feel that I'm looking at him or I'm going to threaten him, because he stares at me all the time. He puts all his noisy equipment on if he sees me in the garden on a sunny day. Not me that says that, it's people that visit the house and said, he seems to do that every time. I said, yes, I know. He's done that since he believes that I tried to strangle my wonderful ex-wife. Yeah, I know. Oh, good girl. So this is what I was trying to defend. Now at the moment, because it's a Wednesday morning, the kids are at school. Kids aren't the problem. The kids have never been the problem. You get shitty kids going past being rude or whatever. That's what kids do. You know, but when you feel under siege, when there's bigger people that want to use your drive and just do what they want because they're dudes and they're maverick and they're woo and they're wee, you know, I don't want it. I didn't even say, come on lads, it's late, you know, yeah, fuck off, you won't go, I can't be doing with living like that. Especially when I know, and another individual who's now fucking dead because of this, knew that this could all been avoided or mitigated or accounted for or whatever, because shit's getting real now in life. You know, people are all on drugs. Oh look, a slow worm. Check this out, this is cool. This is why I want to live here, or why I came to live here. Let's have a look. There he is. Hope you can see him. I'm going to leave him actually because he's not in anyone's way. Roxy's not anywhere near him. He's a lovely specimen. Beautiful thing. To show he's not made of rubber. There you go. Yeah, alright, I'll leave you alone. Come on fella, get into some cover. Your sense of direction ain't what it should be, but what a beautiful little thing. Slow worms, find them a lot. I found one cut up the other day, which is a bit of a, or been had by a bird. I'm gonna have to close now. Don't judge me, you don't know me. None of you know me. I've had a veneer the same as you have, and I've had to act hard and act tough. But I ask you this, David, when we had an altercation, did I batter the fuck out of you? Or did I just put you on your back and ask you to stay there and I'll leave you alone? Yes, I did the latter. Brian, I've never had an altercation with you. I never wanted one because I saw you as a father figure when we were younger, and you don't have fights with your dad unless it's our dad. You're not the most intelligent bloke in the world, Brian, and your wife is very judgmental and thinks she knows the answers to everything when she doesn't know half of things. Nor do I, to be honest, but at least I know that I don't know. And I know that I've been fooled. I know that I've been an idiot. I didn't have a lot of mentoring when I was a kid, did I? I had to kind of make it up a bit as I went along. And I'm not apologising, so I've done okay. I would have done okay if I had not met the obvious, in-your-face, we don't give a shit corruption of the people that control the area I live in. And it ain't about planning, it's not because I don't like something. I'm quite happy with the skate park being there. But being a construction related person for a long time, I know that that could have been built with significantly less fallout for the community. And that's a fact, and I can prove it tomorrow. I can get all the paperwork that they produced and just say they lied about that, they misled people about this, even councillors, and I've spoke to them. And the man's dead. I haven't killed anybody, but I've been in prison. £129 worth of paint out on the pavement. The police invent that I was X something 40 years ago, and I'd sharpened a pole to prepare for the police. If I was going to prepare for the police, I'd do more than sharpen a pole. I have no interest in preparing for the police. The police always outnumber you, always outgun you, and always lie about the events. So you are fucked before the get-go. That's how the police work. They know it, and I know it, and many people know it. Anyway, God's love, bunny hugs, and that kind of thing. Thank you.